Report. What did I do?
I have no idea, man. It wants me to report your ass. Zoom is coming for you, Tim.
Dude. Oh, buddy.
This is a good card. This is a pretty
It
sneaky good
is.
card.
It is. I'm really excited for this main event.
Oh
Really
man,
excited.
I am too.
I think I think it's gonna be a good fight. I really do. Um you got this, you recording? Are we all fired up? Are we ready to rock?
We're
Can we
fired
jump in?
up. We're rocking.
All right. So we had a little technical difficulties. We didn't get the last one out. But we're back, and then what? We have a week off next week. Thank God for college football Saturday nights, so
Yes,
it gives us
sir.
something to do. But we can hop right into this one. I'm not too excited about some of the prelims. There's some funny ones here that we'll get to, but there's a couple on here that I'm really interested in. We'll start it off with the first fight: Montserrat Rendon versus Tamirez Vidal. Um, this one, honestly, it's kind of a funky fight for me. Um, I really don't care too much for this one, especially with Montserrat being 34 years old, going up against a 25-year-old. Uh, Biggest thing here for me is just that age gap in experience. I mean, this girl Vidal has already fought in the UFC. Um, she's got finish in the UFC. She's got finishes in one finish in LFA. Granted, her record is only what 7-1.
Yep.
She does have the big experience, especially going against a girl that is 5-0 at 34 years of age, coming in making her UFC debut. Um, Not really feeling it. No dog here for me on this one. I think it's probably going to be Vidal. Wouldn't surprise me if it is by a finish, because it seems that Montserrat, all of her fights are going the distance. So yeah, I can see her getting finished. I don't think she's fighting higher level girls. I think she's past the age apex. It was pretty much cut and dry. Vidal, maybe a parlay piece.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same side. I don't have a whole lot to add either. She's 25. Montserrat's 34, almost 35. And Vidal, UFC win. Montserrat doesn't. So I feel like this is probably going to be Vidal steamrolls her, or we get to see Vidal taken into some tougher waters, a little bit of choppier waters if Montserrat can get her into that final round or into that last couple minutes of the second. We're gonna see, but for me, I feel like Vidal's got the advantages almost everywhere here, especially on the experience side. Even though Montserrat's 35. Vidal has that UFC win. She has more pro wins at 25. So I'm pretty much all over Vidal here. I don't have many bets on it, but I mean, in a parlay, I'm not too worried.
Yeah. All right. So this next one, this
Holy
is kind of
shit, dude. Hannah Goldie looks jacked.
yeah.
Oh my god.
She's on the female ERT. So
Yeah,
what is that?
dude.
ERT, estrogen
It must
replacement
be,
therapy?
dude. It must be. She's on
Is it
fucking
on the-
horse steroids. My god.
So so this one is gonna be the same for me. Mizuki Inoue versus Hannah Goldie. I think it's gonna be the edge is gonna go to Mizuki, just for the simple fact that Hannah Goldie's last fight, she lost to Molly McCann, who I think is a legit dumpster fire of a fighter. She does have a win over Emily Whitmire, who's 4-4. So that's not saying much. She did lose to Belbita, and she did also um, lose to Miranda Granger. But the big thing is for me is Mizuki is coming off a decision loss to Amanda Lemos, and prior to that, her other loss was to Marana Jandiroba.
Beast.
Jandroba. Yeah. And in between those two losses, she's got a split against Yunan Wu and um, another decision fight against this Viviane Pereira. Um, I don't think that's Alex's sister. I think she's only got like two fights, and I don't think she's up there yet.
Let's find out.
No, it's definitely not. Um,
Oh shit. That's a 7-year old.
what?
That is not. Yeah, I just went to try to find if it was, and it is a completely different person. The person who came up looks like they're like 10 years old.
Oh,
Definitely not Alex's sister. You're right.
so this is straw weight, um, which is confusing. So that means that Hannah Goldie is going to go down in weight. Especially because Molly McCann is 125. Her last fight was at 125. Now they're going to 115. Um, I don't. It's not good. That's not good. So that's pretty much all I got on this one. It's never good when you're going down in weight.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know. I'm a little bit just standoffish on this fight, I guess. I think Mizuki probably has the advantages as of just being a better fighter, but I don't know. The price really doesn't feel like I'm comfortable putting this in parlays, especially because Mizuki, even though it was Amanda Lemos, she is 1-1 in the UFC, and no matter who it's against, I'm not really looking to put someone who's 1-1 minus 300 in a parlay against someone with 4 UFC fights and a contender series fight. Granted, Goldie's not very fucking good.
Yeah,
Not very good.
yeah,
Yeah.
one win, three losses. So it's
So
not.
it's not like I'm not really inspired to feel good about that minus 300 on Mizuki, but I'm not really inspired to take the dog shot. So I'll probably just watch this and see if Goldie can just be jacked enough to win a fight because she's absolutely veins popping like it's insane. I just googled her while you were talking because I was like I need to see if she's actually this jacked. And in one of her photos, she's walking and if you cut her head off, I would have thought it was Justin Gaethje. She's
Yeah,
huge,
I
dude.
mean,
It's
I
insane.
mean, let's be realistic. Unfortunately, pretty face, great physique, um, skill department.
Not UFC caliber, probably.
No,
We'll see.
no.
Maybe this move to 115 will help her, but this is one
I,
of those sit and watch, and whichever one looks good, maybe you bet them in the future, or if they don't look good, you fade them in the future.
yeah,
That's it for me. I think not really
yeah.
that
That's it
interested in
for
it.
yeah. Hopefully, we get some decent fights because back to back. Not to sound like a homer or uh, sexist, but to start the card off with the back to back female fights of lesser knowns. We'll see. Hopefully, those girls can scrap and set the pace. But it's gonna be a tough start to the card, I think.
They might surprise us. Who knows? But this we got a banger coming up here, an absolute certified classic, people's main event right here, Tim.
I, gue- I guess so.
The
If
fat
that's
middleweight Jake
yeah,
Collier versus the shitty brother Muhammad Usman. Do you have any strong takes here?
yeah, the UFC is feeding Usman can jobs to try and get him built up a little bit and see if he can start to draw. I don't think it's going to happen. He should be able to beat Jay Collier. But at the same time, I don't think he's good. Um, he did beat Justin Taffa though, or Junior Taffa,
Which is a decent
which
win.
which is it's a decent win, but I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I mean, to start making your UFC debut and stuff like, I mean, he's 34 years old. Granted, he's at heavyweight, but I mean, it doesn't do nothing for me. And beating Jay Collier doesn't really do anything for me either. Jay Collier's got one win in his last,
5 fights.
5 fights, and that was against Chase Sherman.
He is from Cuba, though, Tim.
Yeah, Cuba, Missouri. So and he beat your doppelganger. So this is all over the place for me. I don't know why they're doing this. Just let Jake, give him somebody else. Why? This is the only thing that drives me nuts. Give Jake Collier somebody else. Um, that's on a 3 fight losing skid. Don't use him to be a stepping stone for a guy that I don't think is going to go anywhere. I don't see him competing with any of the top 10 or top 15 heavyweights.
Yeah, no, dude, he dies. He dies. All right, I mean, honestly, honest opinion on this, I think Usman fucking sucks, and I think Collier sucks just a little bit more. Like that's
Yeah.
about what it is. I don't think Usman is beating like anybody with an ounce of takedown defense. But I think Collier might get tired. Collier, I mean, skill for skill in this fight, Collier is a better skill fighter. Like if you had to just be like, okay, you get to have one of these fighters' skill sets for the rest of your life, I would take Jay Collier because he actually has like some striking and some wrestling and some jujitsu. He's not just pure, I'm going to try to tackle you, and if I don't tackle you, then I'm going to die. And that's what Usman is. He's just a blast double, push you against the fence until he
Yep.
gets you to the mat. So Collier probably has more, I guess, tools, but he's also just a fat 180 pounder, and he gets tired and he gives up, and he's 1-5 or 1-4 in his last five. So I'll take Usman just because he might be able to outlast him, but this fight blows.
Yeah. I mean, this is the. I mean, that should probably Jake should get his lights shut off. So that should kind of get the card going really with that fight.
Yeah, this next one should be. This is probably we haven't talked lock of the night or anything like that, but for me here, I think Malkoon kills him and kills him quick, and I don't think it's very hard. He could
Yeah.
potentially be one of our parlay pieces if you agree, um, but if you don't, we'll look
Um,
elsewhere.
I think we're gonna have to look elsewhere. I think this is a sneaky fight.
Trap
Um,
fight, sort of a deal. Is that what you're thinking?
I think so. And I could be way off. Um, but if you look at Cody Brundage, he's on a 3 fight skid, and in those 3 fights, his last one was to Dumas, who I told you before that I'm a fan of. He's kind of in a funky spot right now too. Um, but he lost by submission to Rodolfo Vieira. Guy is out of this world jiu-jitsu, right? And then before that, to your boy Michael. Uh,
Mikey O, baby.
Mikey O. Yeah, we'll go with Mikey O, who is exactly who we thought he is. So those are tough fights. He did get a win over Trayshawn Gore, which isn't anything. And before that, Lungi Umbula, he's got a win over a finish. So his last 2 wins were finishes, right? But then you
You
go over to Malkoon. I mean, he fought Nick Maximoff. So I don't know how much stock you're putting in Nick Maximoff out of the Diaz camp, um, but Maximoff did not look good in that fight. Lost to Brendan Allen, so Brendan Allen is decent.
That was a good fight
Um,
too. It was a close fight.
yeah, he beat AJ Dobson, um, Razak Al Hassan, which is a good win, and then he lost to Phil Hawes. So I think this could be a trap fight. It wouldn't surprise me if Cody Brundage turns it around. Um, I like the Factory X guys. I think I think he could win.
If
I
you're taking
really
Brundage, you got to be taking him like early knockout, right?
Um, no, no. I think he could. I think it could. He could submit him. I think he could possibly go to a decision. I mean, you gotta also understand. I mean, he's training with Dustin Jacoby. These are the guys he's with. Anthony Smith. Guys like that who Brandon Royval. I mean, obviously he's much bigger than Brandon Royval, but Alexander Hernandez. So I think the guys that he's training with, especially look at it this way, just Dustin Jacoby. We thought Dustin Jacoby was kind of that's it. It's a wrap. And now all of a sudden, he's stringing them together. So it is possible, and I think it's very possible that this could be a little sprinkle for me just to take the money line on him.
All right, we'll keep him. We'll keep him out of the lock. But for me, it's going to be Malkoon, and I think it's going to be Malkoon. I think if Brundage wins, I think he knocks him out in the first, and I think outside of that, Malkoon is going to maul him. I think he's going to just grapple the fuck out of him. If he gets him
Yeah.
down in the first, it could be early sub, and if he doesn't get him down in the first, that's where that knockout I think it gets a little bit
How,
sketchy.
how, how you gonna sum the guy's got zero submissions?
Malkoon,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he won't. I just think
Yeah.
his grappling is too
He's
good for Brundage. Brundage gets finished whenever he always just gets
a finish.
fucking absolutely mollywopped.
He got he got finished by Vieira and by Mikey O. So
Yeah,
those guys
you have a point
are
there. You got a point there that
those
he's getting
guys
finished by good
are
guys.
legit. But yeah, and he got stopped, KO by Mikey O, and then submitted by Rodolfo Vieira. You know, just for ha-has, how many submission wins in sports combat do you think Rodolfo Vieira has?
Fucking 400, dude. Dude's probably been in
That's
like he's probably
that's
been in 1,000 jujitsu tournaments.
hmm
Well,
so that's what I'm saying. So I think it could be a trap,
it's
but
fair enough. I
we'll
mean,
see.
I don't disagree with you after you made those points. I mean, he's getting finished by good guys, so we'll see. Maybe I'll keep Malkoon, out of the ring this week, and we'll see how it goes, how he looks. Then maybe we'll fade him or sprinkle him in the future again. Oof.
So Andre Fiallo versus Tim Means. Um, this one should be for me, uh, pretty much lock of the night, potentially for Andre Fiallo. Um, I think Andre Fiallo's got the power, and I think Tim Means has been getting pieced up lately. His last couple fights, so I can see Fiallo knocking the Dirty Bird out. Unfortunately, you got 29-year-old uh, Fiallo back against the wall, going against a 39-year-old Tim Means, who's going on a skid, taking a lot of damage, and this could be the last fight for our buddy Tim Means.
I'm gonna ruin your night here, Tim. We just can't agree.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm feeling the dirty bird here. I don't have a bet on him yet, but I've thought about it. I think the biggest thing was going back and watching that Morono fight. I'm pretty high on Alex Morono, and Tim Means was kind of beating his ass in that first round. Like he was doing well. And I think Fiallo is KO or bust here. It's gonna have to be an early knockout. He's gonna have to catch him while they're fresh. And if he doesn't, I don't know if Fialho's got it in him. He seems to kind of quit on himself come the second round, and he also seems to maybe not have the gas to go a full three. And so Tim, it feels like to me, he could potentially knock out Fialho because Fialho has been knocked out multiple times in his last fights. His chin might be going, and Tim Means could win a decision here, and Tim Means has the grappling upside. Fialho is, knockout Tim, and if he doesn't knock out Tim, then it's a tough fight for him. What's he going to do if he gets grappled? What's he going to do if he gets extended to deep water? So for me, I think Means has got more ways to win. So I'm gonna have to take the Dirty Bird one last ride with Tim Means, but I don't love it. It's not going to be anything that I'd put a lot of money on or dog of the week or anything like that. But he is going to be my pick.
I think this could be either a really action packed first round, and then I can see both these guys just fading and just in
Exactly.
a sloppy second and
Yeah,
third round, and whoever laid on the other person the longest could get the win.
100%
Um,
agree.
but yeah, I think Fiala can get it done now. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Tim Means is taking a lot of damage.
He
But
has, yeah.
he is long. Oh man, he's tall. He's got those long arms and legs. Um,
And he looked good in that last one. That's the crazy thing is he looked good
yeah,
against Alex Morono.
I mean, he did, but yeah. For me, I just think Fialo is gonna knock him out. I think Tim Means is. I think he's honestly, it's he's too old now. Unfortunately, he had a great career. Uh, but I don't see it, man. I don't see it. But I think there's more at stake for the 29-year-old kid with his back against the wall than the guy that's 39 and kind of ready to ride into the sunset.
Fair enough. I don't mind it. 29, 39. That's good odds, over time. The amount of times we've seen 29-year-olds beat 39-year-olds is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
This one should be a banger. This next one here. Argueta versus Miles Johns. Both 30 years old, both in their prime, both coming off of wins. Argueta beats Nick Aguirre and then basically was going to beat Ronnie Lawrence, but then it was a stupid
Oh,
stoppage. Miles Johns, beat Vince Morales, lost to John Castaneda, and then beat Dos Santos and beat Kevin Natividad. And I think this is an even fight, Tim. Like I feel like this is as minus 110 as it gets. So I'm a little interested in why it's skewed so heavily in the favor of Dan Argueta. I feel like it's a very even fight. What do you think?
I think more or less because they think that Arquette is just gonna land on him and just wrestle the absolute shit out of him. To be honest with you, um, if you if you look at Miles John's last loss, it was arm triangle choke. So if you look at that and think about how the best way for Arguleta to do his thing is to get him on the ground, try and go for submissions or get the ground and pound. I think that's what he's gonna want to do. He's gonna fucking wrestle him the whole time. Um, and that's where he's most successful at is those submissions. Granted, he just has a couple knockouts, so I don't know if he's gonna fall in love with that, but he does his best work on the ground. So I could see that being the method for him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so tough here. I'm tempted. I'm tempted on the dog shot, but I'm also not inspired on it. So I feel like it's
It's
kind
a
of one of
it's a
those.
weird one. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think I'm not very high on Dan Argueta.
Yeah,
To
same.
be, to be honest with you, Miles John does have that. He's got that name factor, but I'm just not. I'm not into him. I don't. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, and he didn't win it. So he's beatable. Um, he lost to Damon Jackson. Granted, Damon Jackson was on a run, but he's not. He's not. He was going to beat Ronnie Lawrence, right?
Yeah,
So that's not like. I mean, Ronnie Lawrence is decent, right? But it's not. He's not a world beater. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
yeah,
like it's just almost like a name, another name. Like, oh, I beat Ronnie Lawrence. I'm fighting Miles John. Like people know who the hell you're fucking talking about. But other than that, it's like okay. Um, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I honestly, this fight really doesn't do anything for me. I prefer Miles John. Um, but who knows, man? Uh, Honestly, I don't think it's. It could be a boring fight. It could be a
Yeah,
real boring fight.
I'm in the same boat. I feel pretty good with the same thing. It's kind of boring. I don't really care about it, so it's whatever. This next one though,
That's the whole thing. One guy's a wrestler, and the other guy is a decision. You know,
yeah, he's got big power. Miles Johns does, but
he does. He can catch him, but Argueleta's a big guy. He's a big bantamweight man.
he's jacked. He's a fucking jacked boy.
Yeah, he's got that wrestler, ripped wrestler physique. So we'll see. But I really, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, this next one, another potential, lock candidate for me is Charles Jourdain. I'm pretty all over the guy here. I already bet him. I'm pretty comfortable betting him more. I just feel like in short, Ramos is gonna have to go for takedowns here, and I don't think he's
Mhm.
gonna get them. And I think that's pretty simple, way of looking at it because Jourdain, decent grappling defense. Nathaniel Wood was able to grapple him a little bit, but I rate
Yeah.
Nathaniel Wood higher than Ricardo Ramos. And I also think Charles Jourdain is getting better at a very, very fast rate. And Ramos, we have not seen in a full year. Jourdain, we saw 4 months ago. He looked great against Kron Gracie. Before that, Nathaniel Wood, who was good. Shane Burgos, who that was a very close fight, could have went either way. Ramos lost to Zabara Tugalov and lost to Lerone Murphy, which are good losses too. He beat Bill Algeo. I just don't like how he's been taking time off in between fights, and I feel like Jourdain is in there. He's keeping it tight and keeping it 4 months, 6 months between fights. And honestly, I just think Jourdain's one of those guys that's a big future. Sorry, English is hard. He's got a big future in the UFC, in my opinion. So we'll see. I feel pretty strongly about him here, and I think he's probably going to put on a showcase. But I've been wrong before.
All right. So you're talking about. First of all, I'm on. This is gonna be fun. I'm on the Ricardo Ramos side.
We're gonna have
So
so many. We're gonna have so
yeah.
many
So
this
the
week.
good news is we're gonna be right on every single one of these fights that we're
One of us, yeah, one of us.
So here's the thing. You're talking about Charles Jourdain. He's staying active. He just fought Kron Gracie. The last time Kron Gracie fought, you were shitting your pants and in diapers. So you can't really. There was one thing. Kron Gracie fucking butt scooted. That's it. Ass scooted. Trying to get him down to the ground. You can't. You can't really count that. That was a fucking terrible, terrible fight.
It
Granted,
was.
he won. I guess you have to count it. But before that, I mean, he hasn't done. He lost to Shane Burgos, like you said, and Nathaniel Wood. All right, he's got a win over Lando Venata. I give him that. Right, that I'll give him. I just think I'm gonna have to go with the gym here, training out an alpha male. I think Ricardo Ramos is gonna string it together. I think he's gonna be able to get rid of Charles Jourdain. I think it's gonna be a banger of a fight, to be honest with you.
How do you feel about
These
Ramos's
guys,
cardio?
I think he'll be okay. I think he will be okay.
Okay.
Um, I I mean they have to be working with him. And he hasn't fought in a year. Um, he's got to be, and I think he's dangerous on the ground. I think he could possibly get a finish here. To be honest with you, I don't know why everybody's so high. Who's the favorite?
Jourdain is minus like 120 or minus 130.
Man,
So it's pretty even fight on the odds side of things.
yeah, he's got a nice win over Journey Newsom. Yeah, I think this is going to be a banger of a fight. It wouldn't surprise me if Uriah is working with him on the cardio. Um,
He's gonna need it
I,
because Jourdain gets better over the 3 rounds. He's one of those Cheeto type of fighters where he's average in the first and his best round's the third.
Yeah, I still think I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to. I go with the gym. I go with the gym, and I think with the guy that um is more proven recently. You can't say the Kron Gracie fight was entertaining. That
Nah,
was the
not
most
really.
dog shit fight. I'd rather watch the Carlos Esparza Rose fight,
The
where there
thing
was at
for
least
me is Jourdain had really really good fights against Nathaniel Wood and Shane Burgos, who were pretty good fighters. Ricardo Ramos' last few though has been Danny Chavez, and then he lost to Zabira Tugalov 2 years ago, and so since then for the last 2 years we saw Jourdain. In 2 years, he beat Andre Ewell, beat Lando Venata, had a close fight with Burgos, close fight with Nathaniel Wood, and then beat Kron Gracie. In this time span where we saw Ricardo Ramos fight fucking, get no good wins. That's why it's tough for me to feel like Ricardo Ramos is going to be, snappy, ready for this fight.
no. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Um,
Should be a good fight,
we'll
though.
see.
Should be a great
It,
fight.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great fight. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes to a pick'em at the end if it does go to decision. But
Nice
I
little
think I think
29-28 sort of deal.
yeah, yeah, and you're not gonna be mad either which way. One of those. So I'm leaning towards Ramos. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a good fight. I just want good fights, man. I want if especially if we're not gonna have any fights next week. I want this card to be all good fights.
Yeah, deliver for us. You have any strong opinions on Battle and Fletcher?
Uh all right. So Brian Battle, another tough guy. Not tough as in physically, but Ultimate Fighter guy.
Yep.
I am not a fan. I think is he won the Ultimate Fighter, but he got in via technicality. So he was put in a good situation. The kid works his ass off. I I think he should get it done here. Um, they're feeding him uh, guys that aren't as good. When they fed him, whoever just beat him, I can't think of the guy's name. Renat. That
Yeah.
that that the back a little bit. I think I don't think he's bad, but he's not. I mean, he lost a couple good fights coming off the contender series. I think this should be a good one too. But I have no interest. I don't for this to be. Is this is on the main card? I don't. Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
It's because
It wouldn't
Battle
surprise
is like
me.
a
I can
big.
take Brian Battle here to win, and that drives me nuts. Is his nickname is Pooh Bear? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they like Brian Battle nowadays.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan, and I'm not a fan of how high it is on the card. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it's because they're big. Like UFC really likes Brian Battle, but I mean, this is another one where I'm tempted on the dog. I don't know if I'll get there. But Fletcher to me has been in more dog fights, and I honestly think so. Fletcher's two losses are to Semmelsberger and Ange Lusa. I think both those guys give Brian Battle a hell of a fight. I think both those guys take Brian
Yeah,
Battle into deep waters. And Fletcher, I'm pretty sure they were close 29-28s where there was a swing round in there that could have went either way. Um, and so I think Fletcher could get Brian Battle out of there, number one. And number two,
hmm
I think AJ Fletcher can drag Brian Battle into deep water and potentially we could see Brian Battle gas. We could see Brian Battle unable to keep up. We could see Brian Battle slow down. I don't like Brian Battle at 170. I do think it's good for his frame. I don't like how he's looked cardio wise since he came down to 170, even though we haven't seen much of it. I didn't love it.
yeah,
I didn't think it was great. He showed it in that Renat fight the ability to, keep with it when you're getting your fucking face smashed into the ground. But I mean, if we're saying that about you, you're still getting your face smashed into the ground. So I don't know, and I think Fletcher could he could potentially do something that Renat did not do, which is beat the shit out of Brian Battle's face and then take him to the mat. Um, so I'm interested to see. I do think Brian Battle is a fraud. I do think that. I'm just not sure if AJ Fletcher's the guy that I really want to go, to the dog pound with here against Brian Battle. He's got T Rex arms. I mean, 67-inch reach. I'm pretty sure you could stiff arm him and hold him at a distance. I don't know. Battle has 10-inch reach advantage. It's a little tough. But Fletcher is that dog. He has that knockout power. Those little arms, dude. The physics on those motherfuckers,
Yeah.
they're like windmills. Those things, you catch one of those on the chin, you might die. And Fletcher has
Now,
I think a little bit better, outside of Renat, a little bit better strength of schedule is what I was trying to get at.
now, if I can remember correctly, Gabe Green was piecing him up.
For the first, like, it was like a very short fight, if I remember right. But Gabe Green landed
Yeah,
some good fucking shots.
yeah, yeah.
And if AJ Fletcher
I don't
lands
know.
those shots, I don't know if
That's
Battle's
what
gonna take him, man. This is
I
a
mean.
bowling
I
ball.
would. Yeah, I would never bet on Brian Battle to begin with. So I'll probably throw a little on AJ Fletcher.
I want to see what him by knockout is. I bet you they have it up on DraftKings, but him by, we'll do finish just because I want to be safe there. But let's check this out. AJ Fletcher by finish. Winning method. AJ Fletcher plus 250. That's not a bad look. That's not a bad
That's
look.
that's not that's really not, and not for nothing. He's a finisher, man. He's got 9 finishes.
Exactly. Yep. He is a finisher. All right. I
Yeah,
can.
I think we sprinkle a little by AJ Fletcher, to finish.
I
I'm
agree.
just not sure. I'm just not sure how, like you said, they love Brian Battle.
They
So
do, yeah.
this could this could really derail him. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how this pans out.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I think it'll be an interesting fight, and if Brian Battle wins, we'll find out a lot about him, which will be big time.
Oh yeah.
This next one, I think I can keep it to fucking 10 seconds. Marina Rodriguez versus the Karate Hottie. We already saw this fight. I don't think it's gonna be any different the second time. All right, Tim, your turn.
Yeah, I think Marina Rodriguez is going to piece her up. Michelle Watterson, I mean, both these gals are getting up there, 36, 37. I do feel that if Michelle Watterson loses, this is it for her. I could definitely see that happening. But I just think on the feet, it's going to be. I mean, Marina Rodriguez on the feet all day for me. I don't think she's gonna knock her out. Um, the only chance that we have here is if Watterson just wrestles her, which I don't think is going to happen. So yeah, Marina Rodriguez probably by decision.
I agree. I don't think it looks any different than that first fight. And honestly, I'm a little bit pissed that the UFC made this again. I don't know why we needed to see this again.
Maybe this because it's her last fight,
Yeah,
and she's like, you know what one really bothered me is when I lost to Marina Rodriguez. Uh, but that's the, I mean, that's the division, my friend. And
it
where's
is.
Marina fight out of? CT Thai,
Yeah,
Brazil.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. I've never seen that
Mm,
before either.
huh.
Interesting gym. Usually, the Brazilian fighters fight out of similar gyms. You get to
Yeah.
recognize them, but that one I definitely don't. Oh baby,
Oh boy.
Thug
This is.
Nasty versus 50K Ige. This is a big fight. This is actually an exciting fight too. This is a great fight.
um.
I'll let you lead us off here.
Yeah. So we have Bryce Nasty Mitchell, the one and only camo short wearer ever. in the UFC versus Dan 50K Ige. I have to say, I've been really surprised with how Dan Ige um, turned it around. I faded him against Damon Jackson. I faded him against Nate Landwehr, um, and I lost on both of those. So, with that being said, the lesson there is don't fade Dan Ige. Uh, I'm gonna fade Dan Ige again now. I think Bryce Mitchell he fought Ilya Taporia. Okay, we know Ilya Taporia is going to be fighting um for the belt next. Hopefully he should be. I think that it was a terrible performance by Bryce. He said he was sick. He visibly did not look the same. He visibly looked exhausted after the first round, took a ton of damage. And he took a good amount of time off. Not too long, not too short, 8 months, 9 months. Um, I think he's back, ready to go. I think he's going to be 100%. This was made earlier, right? And he pulled out due to an injury.
I think so, yeah.
So I think I I think it means a lot for him to get back on track. You got to remember that was his first loss to Taporia.
Yep.
So before that, he was on a nice little roll. Um, oh, Mosvar Evelev. He was supposed to fight. So he's trying to he has no problem fighting Evelev, who a lot of people aren't really calling out. Beat Andre Fili, Charles Rosa, um, Edson Barbosa. So I think he's wouldn't surprise me if he gets it by submission. Um, what do you think? I mean, he's got a nice win over Tyler Diamond. That was an Ultimate Fighter,
This is
but I think he gets it done. I think he submits Dan Ige. To be honest with you,
this is like the most binary fight of all time. If Thug Nasty cannot get a takedown, he's getting knocked out. And if Thug Nasty can get a takedown, he's choking Danny Gay out. Like every single time, that's how this fight goes. It's going one way or the other. I'm so sure of it. The under 2.5 is gonna be. Let me check what that is. It's probably something fucking stupidly wide. The under 2.5 on this. Oh my god, the under 2.5 is +200. That might be my dog shot of the week because that is dog money. But for me, I mean, I just feel like Thug Nasty chokes him out or Dan Ige beats the fuck out of him and finishes him. I don't really see how this goes. Like if this goes to the mat, we have one very clear winner. If this stays on the feet, we have one very clear winner. And Bryce should have his opportunities to get Dan Ige to the mat, and I think he will. It's just how long it's going to take him because Dan Ige can put the lights out any single shot he lands. The other thing that's bothering me about Bryce, because going into this, I really liked Bryce Mitchell. I saw him at like -150 or something last week or something, and I was really
uh,
interested in that, and I really liked that. And then he came out with some video about his ex girlfriend destroying all his fruit trees, and then
oh
and then
yeah,
I saw a video of him breaking into her house and knocking
oh,
the
I didn't see
fucking
that.
door down. And then, I mean, I didn't like how he reacted to his last loss where he said he was sick. I get that like fighters feel like they have to come out and give a reason every single time. I just feel like that's kind of bitch made. You lost to Ilya Tuporia. Just come out and say he was the better fighter because he genuinely just is. He's the better fighter. Like he's just better than you. It just is what it was. I don't if you had food poisoning, keep that to yourself because it comes off as an excuse. And I get it was his first loss, so I'm interested in how he's going to react to that. I'm weirded out by the fact that he posted that whole thing about the fruit trees and he called people on Twitter to action. He said like something, the streets of Arkansas protect my family or something. Like what you
That's
want him to shoot her? What are you doing, Bryce Mitchell? So
They all they all went and left her tattoo shop. Terrible reviews on Google.
dude,
It was
it's
pretty bad.
it's so
It,
weird. And that's the whole
He
reason that I
does.
didn't bet Bryce Mitchell is because of that. And that's the whole reason I'm like weirdly feeling like Dan Ige might knock him out, even though I probably think Bryce Mitchell wins this fight. So like I don't know. I'm just stuck in the middle. I'm like, Bryce Mitchell, you feel like a head case. You feel like you need to be on fucking psychotic medication. But Dan Ige, you know, you're not very good at grappling, but you have knockout power. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. It's really
Who do you
tough.
think who do you think is to be the smarter fighter? If we're going with that, with the current mental state of Bryce Mitchell,
Dan
I think
Ige. I think Dan Ige is a very smart fighter.
I do
Even
too.
in his losses, he's been a smart fighter, which is weird to say. He's a very like calculated, technical fighter. And so
Yeah,
it makes me like kind of pause because I was all over Bryce Mitchell too. I was really, really feeling like this was his bounce back spot because we've seen Dan Ige get grappled before. We've seen him get grappled. And then I was thinking also, you know, once the facade of an undefeated fighter goes away, sometimes they go on those big losing streaks. You know, if they're not who they say they were, they're not who we thought they
yeah,
were. Sometimes they go on losing streaks, and I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of this fight because of that. But I do think that under is a good bet at plus 200. I think that's a great bet.
yeah. But here's the thing too. So you said that like he made the excuse. We've never seen him that exhausted, and he's gone to decisions before. We've never seen Bryce Mitchell look that bad.
It's because Ilya.
I understand that, but just because it's against Ilya Taporia, you don't lose your whole cardio. You don't lose your whole conditioning system because it's Ilya Taporia.
It's because he couldn't get the takedowns. It's because he couldn't get the takedowns, I think, and he gassed out. So if he gets the takedowns on Ige, he's beating the fuck out of Ige. If he can't get the takedowns, he might gas out again. I don't know.
Yeah. I think this could be the lock of the night. Is this under 2.5? I
I'd
think that's the safest.
That would be our dog of the week, our plus money of the week, because it's plus 200. That's fucking crazy odds.
Dog, yeah, that could be the dog. That
The
could be both.
dog, since we don't really have
That
a
could be
dog on this card,
the dog. We do, but we each have our own.
yeah, we each have our own dogs.
But yeah, do that as the lock slash dog of the week. I think that'd be fantastic.
All right.
Oh baby, I've been looking forward to this.
Someone's coming away with a bag of coffee after
This
this
is
one.
the beginning of the coffee bet.
Oh
All
man.
right,
So bag of coffee
so
on the line, it gets shipped to whoever wins the fight.
yeah, and good coffee, not that bullshit Christmas tree shop, Walmart job lot coffee.
Good coffee. All right. So like Dunkin' Donuts breakfast blend, something like
No,
that.
no, no. Don't worry, I'll pick out my coffee for you to send me.
Okay. All
But here
right.
we go. Rafael Fiziev versus Matej Gamrot. All right, so how about let's do this? I'll let you talk up your guy and why you think he's gonna win, and then I'll tell you why I think my guy is gonna win.
All right. So for me, I don't think my guy is gonna win. I know my guy is gonna win. Um, and that is big Rafael Fiziev. And I think the biggest thing we're gonna talk about here, um, Gamrot's last fight, Jalen Turner, he got knocked down. Fight before, Benil Dariush, he got knocked down. Fight before that, Armin Sarukian, he got knocked down. Fight before that, Diego Fiera and Jeremy Stevens, he steamrolled them because those fighters are not as good as any of those top 10 fighters. But Gamrot, last three fights, got knocked down. And let's talk about who those fighters are that knocked him down. Number one, Jalen Turner. We just saw Jalen Turner lose to a washed Dan Hooker. Jalen Turner has not looked inspiring in his last couple fights. So knocked down Gamrot makes me a little scared. Second fight. Who was that? Benil Dariush. Dariush does not have show-stopping power. He's more of a grappler. He does have nice power, but not show-stopping. And he knocked down Gamrot again. Second fight in a row. Fight before that, Armin Sarukian. What is he known for? He's a grappler. He doesn't knock anybody out on the feet. In fact, in his last fight, he got knocked down against a guy who was a plus 800 underdog going into the fight. Sarukian did. His striking is not all that great. Gamrot got knocked down by him. It makes me really, really scared for Gamrot when he goes against someone who's a striker, who has takedown defense, and who has finishing instinct. And that's exactly what he's taking on here. Is Raphael. So Fiziev is the guy who has the power in his hands. He has good takedown defense, and he has finishing ability, which for me is something that Jalen Turner, Beneil Dariush, and Arman Sarukian all lacked when they got those knockdowns. They got the knockdown on Gamrot. They could not get the finish. I think Fiziev has different power in his hands and legs than all three of those guys, and I think he has the finishing upside, and he has the takedown defense. This is a guy that we saw arguably win a fight against Justin Gaethje. Great fighter. Justin Gaethje is a Hall of Famer, no doubt. He's the BMF right now. He's next in line for that 155 title shot against whoever wins that Charles Oliveira Islam fight. Fiziev arguably beat him. Before that, Fiziev beat Rafael Dos Anjos in the 5th round. His power translated to the 5th round. And he stuffed 14 takedowns in that fight. Rafael Fiziev stuffed 14 takedowns. Granted, I have a lot of respect for Gamrot's chain wrestling and Gamrot's grappling in general. I'm actually pretty high on him. I was pretty high on him. The Jalen Turner fight kind of turned me off. That was the big one where I was like, okay, what the fuck is happening here? But I bet him in pretty much all of his fights before that. The Jeremy Stevens, the Fiera, the Arman Sarukian, and then I bet him against Beneil Dariush, and I was surprised he lost. But for me, it's going to be Fiziev. I got him at minus 135. I got in heavy, and then I added more, and I added more. And this is another one of those Sugar Sean size bets. It was Sugar Sean. It was tied to Avasa, which lost, sadly. And then it was Valentina Shevchenko, which that was an absolute... Dude, the fucking cartel came in and did something for that 10-8. I don't know what happened, but the cartel made a lot of money somehow on that shit. There's a new billionaire in the Tijuana cartel after that, because I don't know what they were holding a gun to his head or something. 10-8 in the 5th was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But regardless, this is another one of those big fat bets that I have. Well, technically, I am 1-1-1. I got one win in 2023 with those big bets, one loss, and one draw on them. So Fiziev, I think he's gonna knock him out, which a lot of people don't think is gonna happen. And I'm assuming we're gonna hear that viewpoint right about now, Tim.
Yeah. So here's my thinking. Gamrot has to, in order for him to win this fight, he has to tire Fiziev out. He has to tire him out. He has to wrestle him. He has to get him on the ground. He can try and submit him. He can ground and pound. I could see any of those outcomes. Like you said, I can also see Fiziev knocking him out in the first. I think if Gamrot can survive the first, shoot takedowns, I think he will get him down. I think you're putting a little bit too much weight in stuffing RDA's 15 takedown attempts. First of all, that's RDA. What year was that? Was that last year? That was last
Yeah,
year.
last year. Yep.
Right. So last year. So that's 2022. RDA's blown up. He's been going up to fighting catch weights. He's been fighting welterweight, and then he came back down. So this isn't the same, in your prime RDA at 155. He went down. It didn't work out. So you can't hold that against him. Also, Fiziev fought Gaethje. He didn't win. Gaethje pieced him up in the third. Why? Because if you watch that fight, Gaethje started hanging on him, clinching with him, and just wearing him down. Gaethje even got a takedown. When's the last time you saw Gaethje take anyone fucking down? He took him down in the third. I think Gamrot's going to take him down. I think it's going to be pretty easy for Gamrot to take him down. I think Fiziev is gonna he loads up. He throws everything with 100% power, and I think that's going to be his downfall. So you're fighting a depleted RDA going 5 rounds. You're not going 5 rounds with a chain wrestler who's not cutting as much weight as RDA, or hasn't even cut that weight in 2 years and going back down there and doing it. So the physiology of his body type is going to be completely different than RDA. I think he has no problem taking him down. And the thing here is he does have that great takedown defense, but majority of those numbers are coming off of the RDA fight. So how accurate is it going to be? Gaethje shot what, twice? One was just a single leg at the end of a round, just to kind of show that it's a possibility, and then he took him down in the third. I think over 5 rounds with Gamrot hanging on him, I think he's going to get the win.
Do we agree? I think we can agree at least on this that this is pretty similar to the co-main where it all depends on Fiziev's takedown defense.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I just don't. But the whole difference is the power that Fiziev has is life changing. You get hit with one of those shots, you cannot be right for the rest of your life. He throws everything in it. I don't think, and obviously the other guys they're only 10 pounds lighter. Neither one of them has that power. At least Ige doesn't. Bryce Mitchell, I don't expect it, but this would be taking a shot. Now here's the thing too. Fiziev, he jumped up. He's got wins over Bobby Green, Brad Riddell, and RDA. I'm sorry. Washed RDA.
Yeah.
RDA. You
It
know what
is
I
a
mean?
washed RDA. It is.
And then you step up and you fight Gaethje. You look fantastic the first round. You look good the first round. You lose the second round, and then you're depleted from Gaethje hanging on you in the third round. If that Gaethje fight, let's put it this way: if that Gaethje fight went another round and a half, Gaethje would have absolutely gotten him out of there. He would have been absolutely exhausted, and that's just Gaethje clinching and leaning on him,
Yep.
not shooting the takedowns, not being on top of him. That's the whole thing. So
Yeah.
that's the only concern is if he can hold his cardio for that long. We know Gamrot can. And the loss of Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner's 6'3", crazy frame, um, lightweight. So that's a tough fight. That's an extremely tough fight. Um, look how much of a hard time we just saw Jack Madalena with Kevin Holland. That frame is tough. You would have had we had both had Kevin Holland because of the frame, the long arms, and everything like that. But sometimes it just doesn't work. And Beneil Dariush, everybody was so excited to see him fight Islam because everybody thought he would just roll through Charles and then go. Everyone wanted to see him fight Islam. So Dariush is fantastic. I was stunned how um, his fight with Charles went. But at that same token, the Dariush um, Gamrot fight was very exhausting in the 3 rounds that it was. So we know that Gamrot has the cardio and can chain wrestle and can be on both ends of it. On that side, it's just can he handle the power of Fiziev long enough for him to kind of turn the tides and get some time in the fight and wear him down.
It's a great fight. It's a great fight. Like this is the future of 155 right here.
Yeah, I mean it's very very tough. I mean, but you gotta look at the experience too. How much do we put on experience? Gamrot has ten more fights than him, and they're all wins.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing for me. The Bobby Green hype train. I don't know where all that's coming from. Um, Bobby Green stringing some nice fights, but then you put him in there with some guys, and you just get steamroll. Brad Riddell. I mean, what's your thoughts on you? Think a lot of these wins are like fantastic wins?
No, I mean, I don't think the Brad Riddell win is great. I feel like Brad Riddell was better than he is now. He was, I mean, it was at the time, it was a pretty um, closely lined fight. I think the Rafael dos Anjos win, pretty solid, even though he is older. And then I think the Justin Gaethje loss was a great look, even though he did lose, which sucked. It was a 29-28 split decision. I think it was a close fight. A lot of people yelled robbery. A lot of people yelled Gaethje shouldn't have won. I thought Gaethje won. Um, I don't know. I think this is. I mean, I think Fiziev on that night against Gaethje was great, and he still wasn't good enough to beat Gaethje. But I think Gaethje beats the actual fuck out of Gamrot too. Like I think Gaethje knocks Gamrot out within one or two. And so Fiziev on that night looked good, even though he lost. I don't know. It's just one of those fights. It's Gamrot takes him down or Gamrot dies. And Fiziev knocks him out or Fiziev gets taken down and choked out. It's just a very. You're betting on Fiziev's takedown defense, and I'm betting that I think Fiziev's takedown defense is going to be enough to at least stuff half the takedowns.
Yeah, I mean, also too, if you look I mean, he last fought. Well, when he fought Brad Riddell, that was at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
He fought once in 2022. Right now is against RDA, and then he lost March against Justin Gaethje. I I don't know. I got a feeling that this could be one of those. I don't know why it's not closer to what is it on DraftKings right now?
Gamrot is plus
Is
130. Fiziev is minus 155.
so pretty much a pick 'em.
Yeah, I mean,
Ah man, I think I mean beating Armin Sarukian, beating Jalen Turner. I mean even if it was a split decision, going to distance with Dariush. Oh man, I really think, and then the lineage at KSW. I like it, man. I really like Gamrot here,
all right.
but
We're split.
it's not going to surprise me. Yeah, it's not going to surprise me if he gets knocked out in the first. I'm like, well, kind of knew that was going to happen, so we'll see. But the Tiger Muay Thai guys, they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, they're dogs.
Uh, and we can see a whole different. We can see a completely different Fiziev. He might not throw 100% behind every punch. You
We'll
know what
see,
happens if he
right?
dials it back and just stays on the outside and just tries to point fight a little bit and wear on Gamrot. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
It's,
the guys over at ATT down in Coconut Creek, I think they're going to get they got the game plan, um, and they're gonna get Gamrot through.
all right. Coffee bet number one
Coffee bet.
down.
We shall see.
All
And
right.
then yeah, and then we got nothing next week. And then we're creeping into October.
Yeah, I mean, after that, we've got.
Oh, October's the card, man.
Yeah, we got some good fights come October and November. We get to see John Jones back. We get to see John Almeida. We get to see Makhachev Oliveira. Woo! Those are some good
Yeah,
fights.
yeah. Unfortunately, we got there's the next fight night. In the beginning of October, it's Dawson versus Green, which I don't know.
Dude, I'm on
That
Bobby Green. I already bet it
yeah.
too. Plus 250.
Oh man.
I like
We'll
it.
see. That's another. I mean, that's another card. We'll see how it plays out. We got a lot to we gotta see. First off, we gotta get to that card.
Yeah, gotta make it there.
Yeah, see who is still fighting. You know, a lot can happen.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate it.
That would do. And then next time you see us, I'll be sipping a fresh new coffee.
No, you won't. No fucking chance.